Cursed Court, 2 to 6 minor nobles outbid one another to influence the greater nobles. Atlas Games provided this in exchange for an honest review. Place the board in the center. Give a random player the starting player marker. Each player gets a matching set of 20 betting coins and 4 betting crowns, then they place their scoring marker on the 0 space of the score track. One card is dealt face down between each set of players. For example, in a 4-player game, one card is dealt between the first and second player, the second and third, the third and fourth, the fourth and first. Each player can only secretly look at the cards next to them, meaning players only know some of the cards in play. The board has 9 noble spaces and 18 set regions where you can place your betting crowns. Each set is a unique combination of 3 or 4 nobles in a particular pattern, horizontally, the 4 corners, and so on. The patterns are shown near the space/region as a reminder. The game plays over 3 scoring phases called years. Each year has 4 seasons where you place your betting crowns. At the start of each season, one additional card is placed face up in the scoring tableau, so it is common knowledge to all players. Starting with the first player, each player makes a bid in turn on one of the noble or set spaces. At the end of the round, points will be awarded to players who bet on a noble or set whose cards appeared in the scoring tableau. A bid includes a crown and an amount, including 0, of a player's betting coins. Only one player's crown can occupy each space/set. If you wish to outbid another player for a space, say the merchant or the scandal set, you must double the number of coins in the previous bid. If a player is bumped off a space, they can rebid on the same or choose another space when their turn comes around again. Bids may go around the circle several times until the season's end. Once everyone has the same number of crowns on the board, the season ends. Another card is flipped up in the tableau, and bidding for the next season begins. After 4 seasons of bidding and bumping, the year ends. Flip all of the cards, add them to the tableau, and then score. Nobles are scored by the number of card copies that came out. 1 copy scores 1 point, 2 copies scores 2 points, 3 copies score 5 points, and 4 copies scores 8 points. Sets score 3 or 4 points only if at least 1 copy of each card in the set came out. For example, here, the courtesan, queen, duke, and joker spaces would score 1 point, and the merchant and assassin spaces would score 2. The only set that would score is the scandal, involving the courtesan, queen, and assassin. If a player had their betting crown on one of the other spaces, it would not score this year. Players get all crowns and coins back at the end of scoring. The cards are then reshuffled and dealt like at the start of the game, then another year begins. The winner is the one with the highest score after 3 years. Place crowns and, if you choose, a number of coins in spaces that will earn you more points than your opponents. That's Cursed Court. Player areas have coins, crowns, and 1 or 2 cards. These and the big square board mean that Cursed Court should be played on dining tables, though you don't need a big one. Circular and square tables work best. Playing with 4 or fewer players, games last around 35 to 40 minutes, depending on analysis paralysis. AP is when you freeze when you need to make decisions. This game might not work for people who are like that. There's no reading, just match the pictures. Math is simple addition for scoring. You will need to deduce and bluff to do well. A 5 or 6-year-old could play it, but they wouldn't get it. By 7, by 8, yeah. In our 3rd game of Cursed Court, the king and jester were between me and mom, the duke and sorceress were between me and dad. I bet on the duke, mom chose the priestess, and dad picked the sorceress. In the 2nd year, a duke came out, and dad bumped me off the duke. I bumped him back, giving mom the chance to target the king. Dad bet 10 coins on the duke, and another duke came out. Well, guess what came out after that? Even though he went heavy on the duke, we all did a good job spreading out influence. The final score was dad, 30, and me and mom tied with 21. Close. Let me get this out of the way first. Cursed Court's name might mislead people into thinking this is about witches or spells in some way. Sure, there's a character called the Sorceress here, but it's just a bidding game. I don't know what they were going for here. The coins and crowns are identical aside from color, so colorblind people might have issues. Speaking of the crowns, they are very pointy. Seriously, they are needlessly dangerous, though they do look cool. Okay, on to the good stuff. The deduction is very clever. You need to weigh your own options depending on game state, what you know, and what others might know. There are 4 variants that really change how the game is played. The Court Remembers challenges your memory by removing cards from the game. Coinless Court removes, well, take a guess. I didn't try this one, and it sounds boring because you're only playing crowns and can share spaces/sets with opponents. This game is best when it's mean, but this does simplify things for younger players. The Great Exchange has players starting with 100 poker chips. The winner of the year collects all chips on the board. The game winner is the player with all the chips. Finally, the Royal Masquerade has players use a secretly marked Feint crown in addition to their other crowns in order to bluff opponents. Other than the Great Exchange, this game has a set ending, so as long as players don't take too long, it's fast. Surprisingly fast, to be honest. Add the simple rules and great graphic design, and it doesn't take long for players to pick up on things. Cursed Court's tight board, and therefore nastiness, really changes depending on player count. Only 8 spots get filled with 2 players, but 24 are influenced in a 6-player game. You can imagine how different this feels at the different counts. I've played with 3 and 4, and while I enjoyed it with 3, I liked it even more with 4. It's a thinky game because you have some information and gain a tiny bit more over the seasons, but you're otherwise paying attention to others. Are they playing because of what they know or what they think? If they're mistaken, but you think they know something that you don't, you can mess yourself up badly. In a good and fun way, of course. There are going to be people who hate this because of the imperfect information, the betting aspect, and how mean it is. For people like me, I don't quite love it, but I really like it. Hopefully this video helps you decide which way you and your family will feel.